Yeah, g'day everyone. Haven't made a video in a long while. And I apologise for those who may have missed my riveting videos. But this is a video I should have made a long time ago. So if you're an Australian and you're a kid in the 70s and 80s, you saw American TV, and things I always wanted to try when I was a kid was coconut cream pie, see a coconut palm like on Gilligan's Island. I got to do that in my 30s. Someone baked me a coconut cream pie, and I also went to an Asian country and saw coconut palms, and I was running around grabbing coconuts off the beach and bringing them back to the hotel. Coon skin caps or raccoon skin hats, whatever you like to call them. You know, we saw Daniel Boone and those sorts of TV series when we were kids. Nothing like that in Australia. It's too blinking hot down here to have a fur animal on your head, but they were pretty cool, I remember. The other thing, one of the things I was always fascinated about was double bit axes. We didn't get them here in Australia. Well, I've never seen one where I have been. I've never handled one. I think I've seen one in someone's collection that, you know, hasn't been used in a dozen years or more. And John Arnett was kind enough to send me one. Now, here it is. He said, "What sort of double bit axe do you want?" And I said, "I don't know, I've never seen one. You send me one." And this is a fine example. This is an old axe head, but it's hardly seen any use, and I am rapt beyond all belief that John would think of me enough to send me a double bit axe. John sent me a whole box of stuff, which I'm not going to do an unboxing. There will be other videos that I'll show things that John sent me because they're chainsaw related. Oh, and there's also like Reese's peanut butter cups, which were awesome. But he sent these lemon biscuit things, or cookies, whatever you call it, which are made in West Virginia, and they are awesome. They are the bomb. So any American friends, if you're thinking of donations to OzDatMan, chuck a box of those in there, because my wife, I gave some to my wife, and she looked them up to see if you can get them in Australia, and they want $31 a box for them in Australia. So you can get them here in certain states, but you're not going to get them in Australia for those sorts of things. So thank you very much, John, for those things. They're things that would have cost you money to send to me, and I appreciate it very much. I know it's a sacrifice. John sent a letter with all that, and I'm not going to read it out because it was the words were so kind, they were actually slightly embarrassing. You know, being a bloke in Australia, I don't know if we're not as wordy as you guys or that, but you know, thanks mate, yeah, no worries. It's sort of what we go to. We're not gushers as such. Maybe I am, I don't know. But yeah, so there's some other things in that box, and I don't think I'll read that letter at this stage. I might at another stage, but I hope John knows I appreciate his sacrifice. He's a working man. He's about my age, and you know, he works his guts out for money. And I know to send a package either from here to America or back the other way, it's at least $100 to send something that's of any sort of weight, a kilo or more, is, you know, you're just looking, you're burning $100 basically. So back to the double bit. So this is the double bit I've got. I've never, like I say, I've never seen one. So you've got Buckley's of trying to buy a handle down here unless you go to a specialist axe guy and he makes you one. But I've made my other handle for my Tassie, and I was pretty impressed with the result. It still needs a little bit of adjustment here and there, but I'm pretty impressed with the result, because even a cheap junk hardware store axe handle here costs you $40, and it's too short, too fat and no shape to it at all. So what am I going to do? This one, the last one I made was spotted gum. This one is a nice chunk of Tassie oak. It's probably not as tough as the spotted gum, but it's pretty nice long grain, so I think it'll have enough give but enough strength over that distance. I'm aiming to make it around 40 inches from what my little bit of research has. My single bit axe heads, I like them minimum 32 to mine I made at 36, which is probably too long for a lot of people, but with my back and shoulders, that's what is really good for me. So this bit of Tassie oak, it's a bit grubby at the moment, but it's a nice chunk, solid wood. So I'm thinking this, visualise it, come down to about there. I think it's about 40 inches. So yeah, should be good. I apologise to John. This video, not that John needs thanks and in a public forum, that sort of thing, because he's just a really giving guy, but I'm disappointed at myself for not publicly declaring my thanks earlier to John. And I'd like to say John is such a nice guy that he can be taken advantage of, unfortunately. He's got his knife projects on. If you don't know John Arnett's Ways, his channel on YouTube, go there. He goes through step by step making knives and hanging axes and doing beautiful jobs and attention to detail. He's got his knife project going for people who have contributed to the axe and chainsaw community, and also people who are just support crew for that sort of style of activity, which I think is awesome. It's like over 100 knives he's planning on making, and it really disappoints me when we have a live chat and it gets mentioned on a live chat and someone goes, "What's this?" and they flat out, John's on the someone explains it and they go, "Oh, can I get a knife as well?" And not that you're not deserving of a knife from John or that he won't do it for you. I just feel he's been taken advantage of a bit, and the danger for me is to go, "Hey John, I need this stuff from the US, can you post it to me?" And every time I say to John, "I'll pay for post, I'll zip you over the money," he says, no, because I've sent him some stuff, and he's usually my go-to guy when I've sent a few axe heads over to the US, but I can't, for me to send one here and one there and one there would be just stupid money, so I usually send it to John. So it's an extra cost for him as well to, post stuff around the US. So I apologise for that, John, but please let me pay for postage sometimes. It would make me feel better, and I don't want to take advantage of you, because you're that kind of guy that you'll to your own detriment, you'll be kind to others, and that's an awesome quality for everyone else. But I just find you're in it for the long haul, mate. We want you around for a lot of years to come, you and your wife. You're just both such lovely people, and I'd hate to see you burnt out, because you've had a rough run with some earaches and things, and not that I want to go into it here, but yeah, I don't want to see you run down and burnt out. So if there's any way people can support John, I know he's always after good steel for making knives and things. And if you want to if you're in the position that you're close enough and you can send him a nice blank, he will make an axe handle from scratch. He's that kind of guy. So yeah, just support him in that way. That'd be awesome. I'm sure there's other ways you could support him, but he's not going to tell you because he's so. think I timed out that my camera does 10 minutes and then it shuts off, so which means I'm waffling on too long. So he gave me a bunch of stuff that he didn't need to send me, but he was kind enough to send me. But in that package there were some cigars, and we're both wondering, because he paid good money to post this stuff across, and the thing wasn't showing up like it was moving on tracking, and we were wondering what was wrong. And so it happened. I get a letter from Australian Customs. I had duty to pay on some cigars that were included in the package. So here's my rant. The Australian government, so if cigars or tobacco or whatever is that bad, they valued the cigars at $51, I think it was, okay? So guess how much duty they wanted me to pay? They wanted me to pay $970 on the duty for those cigars. So it's not that cigars and tobacco are illegal, it's that we're going to make you pay for them. So if you're rich, you probably don't care, you get good cigars and that sort of thing all the time. But, you know, this is, you know, a gift, and John had sent it from the States, and it just burns my buns that the Australian government is that full of bravado that they can, it works out to something like 2,000% tax on that tobacco. It's just crazy. So if if people want to smoke, I probably smoke one cigar every couple of weeks if I have them, up to once every 6 months. It's not as if I'm killing myself and killing the kids in the car and those sorts of things. If people want to smoke and not be intrusive onto other people's lives, I've thought go for it. But when Australians are paying, I think it's something like $2.50 per cigarette now, that is just insane. So my American friends can't believe it, and they shouldn't be able to believe it, because that is just ridiculous. So there's my rant, and I apologise to John about my Australian government, and well, they're not called customs anymore, they're called the Border Force. So that's how much they think of you. It's not a customs and a service industry for Australians, it's a force that you should be afraid of and will come down on you hard. So yeah, it's just it left a sour taste in my mouth, and I know John was very disappointed and he was spewing. So I just feel Australians are being taken advantage of by our own government in those sorts of ways. For goodness sake, they charge Australian farmers to export their own crops. So how does that work? You're trying to promote Australia earning money overseas, but you still want your little bite, and I think it was like $16,000 for an export license to export your crops overseas, and they wanted to take that up to $30,000 just because. So take that as you will, and you might argue the other way, but yeah, I don't think you'd have too many friends if you're arguing that way. Yeah, pay tax, but 2,000%? Come on. Again, thank you, John Arnett. Thank you all the crew, the Chainsaw crew, the Tasmaniacs, all my Canadian friends and all my American friends. It's awesome just to be part of that group. And, you know, I've got 43 subs. I would not be any happier if I had 1,000 subs, I don't think. 1,000 subs would be nice, but I know those subs are friends of mine, which is awesome. So thank you, and be good to your mum, and thanks John Arnett, and thanks Susan for putting up with John Arnett, because I know he's a driven man sometimes. Alright, thank you.